Well, I've just Guerilla TV just gets better and better. The Guerilla TV channel just gets to the epitome, I think, just now. We're just waiting for Nicola Sturgeon to come out just now. We have, of course, the one, the only, Mr. Robertson, Angus Robertson, MP for.
Was he MP for Murray?
Murray, fantastic, yes.
So, well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us here outside the SNP Spring Conference. I've been hosting a fringe meeting.
Fantastic.
Because what I'm now doing is running a polling and research organisation,
right.
Progress Scotland, and what we're trying to do is get to the bottom of people's views, people who are undecided, people who are open-minded on the independence question, and understanding what are their needs, their interests, their concerns, their expectations. It's great to be amongst friends who are already persuaded, already think they know where we're needing to go. But there are about 20%, 1 in 5, roughly speaking, people who are either undecided or are open-minded, and we need to understand much more about what they're thinking about to then know how we're going to be communicating as effectively as we possibly can.
Yeah, because you get into the sort of tickly bit with the referendum. You're hitting at 49%, is it, for an independence vote?
Well, what the media are very interested in is what is the current level of support for independence, and there have been polls in the last week asking the actual referendum question, which shows support for independence up and within the margin of error, so very close to one another. What we're trying to do is, rather than just capture a snapshot of what is public opinion today, yes, no, but what is that group of people who are not yes or not no, or a bit more than yes than no, or a bit more no than yes, to understand what is it that's making people feel differently about the way that they felt in 2014. Because in effect, all that's needing to happen, theoretically, is 1 in 20 people changing their minds. So it's not very much, but we need to acknowledge that there are people whose views have moved in both directions. There are some people who have moved from no to yes, but there are some people who voted yes in 2014 who are now not so sure. And we need to understand that as well. And Progress Scotland it's the only only organisation I know who does this kind of work in this sort of way. We're doing it all on the basis of people becoming subscribers. And so by people giving us, £2, £5, a tenner a month to help us do this research, we're able to commission opinion polls, we're able to do proper focus group work, we will be able to do other kinds of research. And obviously the more people who become subscribers, the more people who put in a little bit, that all adds up to allow us to be able to do this work. So, over to you, everybody who's watching this. If you've not yet subscribed to Progress Scotland, if you go to the website www.progressscotland.org, you can get all of the information about our research. We're putting up a lot of testimonials of people whose views have been changing.
Sure.
Which people can share online, obviously. And we're also giving people the opportunity to put their hand in their pocket and help us out to do this research. So if you're watching this and you haven't done that yet, please do. If you have already and you're watching this, thank you very much. And if you're able to make any other contribution, small, medium or large, it will all go to the wider research effort.
Well, let me talk about policy, because that's really my forte and in my interest. Well, and to fit into what you've just actually said there. So there's obviously two strands of independence, as far as I'm concerned just now, for the macro nationalist, and that is to be independent in the EU and independent and out the EU. And it depends how strong. We already know the SNP want to be stay within the EU, but there's a million Scots who go to come out of the European Union, who I can't see represented among the MPs and MSPs just now, the 38%. But obviously, to convince that part, and some people might be so against the EU and the construct of the EU, that they might not want to vote for independence, and they might vote against it. How are you going to overcome that sort of demographic within your and how are you going to appeal to those?
Well, firstly, we need to understand people. because people can have a number of views all at the same time.
That's correct.
They can say they want Scottish independence but not be in the European Union, but when you're asked a question, would you prefer Scotland to remain in a UK that's outside the EU, or could you live with an independent Scotland that was within the EU?
Yeah.
We don't know the answer to that question
right.
yet.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the kind of thing that we're trying to better understand, because people have a hierarchy of priorities and can think a number of things at the same time. Now, some of those thoughts might be contradictory because you can't have both of those things. And then it's a question of trying to better understand, well, if it has to be this or it has to be that, what do you feel about that? What we do know is that the issue of Europe and the issue of Brexit has now become the number one issue amongst people when considering how they will vote in the next referendum. And what appears from our initial research is that the biggest single movement in relation to that question and independence is from people who voted no, who might vote yes.
Right.
But at the same time, there is a group of people that we need to better understand who may have gone in the other direction. And that is the kind of research work that we need to be conducting
the juxtaposition
to understand that, and also over time, which is the other part of the research that we're wanting to do, which is to do rolling polling and focus group works called longitudinal studies, so we can understand how people's views are evolving, because it's not just black or white, or it's not even grey. It's that things do change over time, and they might become more certain for people, and then they might become less certain, and we just need to understand that as well as we can.
Well, talking about polling, and it was something I thought was quite interesting. The population of Berwick-upon-Tweed said that they want to rejoin Scotland. I don't understand why it's part of England, because it's a Scottish town anyway, but they've already indicated that they want to rejoin Scotland, as far as I was aware. Now, the SNP are actually polling in England. They're actually, if they were to stand candidates in England, that people might actually vote for the SNP, which is a very strange, unusual situation. It just shows you how liberal the people in the UK are. Is there any plans, do you think, for the SNP to stand candidates down south, or would it come organically out of the constituencies?
No, the SNP's never stood in England. I'm a big Anglophile. I wish England every success and everybody who lives there. I'll leave the future of England up to the good people of England, and I'll leave the future of Berwick up to the good people of Berwick. I'm in favour of self-determination. I'm going to tell other people what they should do. I think my focus is on what's happening here, and trying to understand it now. Seeing as I'm no longer an elected politician, but I've got this freedom of movement to be able to research and understand things a bit better. I think we've got something to offer, which is to say to people that are covering politics, or people who are involved in it. Obviously, in the first instance, people on the yes side were avowedly trying to understand things from a pro-independence point of view. Is it by better understanding people who are not decided and people who are open-minded, maybe that will help evolve our thinking in ways that will have greater impact and have a greater effect on people's opinions. So that's a good thing.
And so about the single currency, just now, I think that to me sounds a much more, I was saying to one of the MPs yesterday, that sounds a much more plausible proposition that Scotland would have its own currency. I mean, obviously the banks are printing the notes anyway. I've actually set up, I've owned the National Mint Limited in the UK as well, so in preparation for printing coinage. So, I mean, obviously it's only coinage that would be required to be, whether it be bobbies or whatever the coinage would have to be. But I mean, it's already there. There could be changes in the name, but I mean, it pretty much could be there to get printed. What's the research going into a central bank? Is there going to be a Scottish central bank? Is there going to be, like in England, unnamed shareholders that are not actually, I don't know why there's unnamed shareholders in the Bank of England.
Well, I think we should be really grateful that a lot of work has gone into understanding Scotland's economic potential, and that's been through the Sustainable Scottish Growth Commission that Andrew Wilson led. If there are people watching this who haven't yet done that, I would urge them to have a look at a very, very detailed study, some very intelligent people who have put their shoulder to the wheel and have made a whole range of proposals about what should be happening with Scotland economically, with our economy, and with the organisation of institutions in an independent Scottish state. I think that should give people a lot of confidence that the necessary work has been done. If you compare what has been happening on a UK level with absolutely zero preparation whatsoever, regardless of what you think about Brexit, but to be moving in the direction of such a big change without having done any preparation whatsoever is part of the reason why we're in the appalling situation that we find ourselves in. So I would say to people who are interested in this, have a look at the Sustainable Scottish Growth Commission. Just Google it. You can find it easy enough. There's no monopoly on wisdom on this, and people have different views on currency and on other questions. Some people want things to be more left or more right, more up or more down. The beautiful thing about an independent Scotland is that we will be able to decide on the basis of what's best for our country. And we'll have a discussion about that, and we will make the best decision, rather than leaving it up to people that we haven't elected to make decisions that we're not in favour of. And that's just abnormal. So we need to put that right, and the more people who are interested in this, the better. The more people who are involved in it, the better, and I wish you every success.
Fantastic. Listen,
all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Care.
Goodbye.
Take care.